Hey there, welcome to week 13 of class. In this video, I will be talking about what we're doing. So let's scroll on down. I covered this in the module overview. So let's check out our week 13 Moodle book here. So let's kind of pull back a little bit. Our module 5 overview. So what are we looking at during these 3 weeks? We are looking at professional and ethical responsibilities. So this is defined as the obligations of an addiction counselor to adhere to accepted ethical and behavioral standards of conduct and continuing professional development. So ethics are generally regarded as the standards that govern the conduct of a person. Smith and Hodges define ethics as a human reflecting self-consciously on the act of being a moral being. This implies a process of self-reflection and awareness of how to behave as a moral being. Some definitions are dictated by law, individual belief systems, religion, or a mixture of all three. So I think that's really interesting to consider, right? Because this is a process of self-reflection and awareness. Even though we have these set standards from NADAC, from SAMHSA, from the state of Montana, from the licensing board, even though we have these standards of practice, there's also this very subjective component to it. How do we feel about it? What do our personal beliefs and values say to this? Which speaks a lot to how we are going to navigate in our practice. So in this module, we will learn about important topics for LACs, including ethics, professional responsibilities, dual relationships, unprofessional conduct, and confidentiality laws. As LACs, we're probably familiar with HIPAA, within the medical profession, but anytime we're dealing with substance use disorders, we're also need to adhere to another confidentiality law. It's a federal law referred to as 42 CFR Part 2. So let's check out our overview. So our overview for this week is this video. So let's jump into our learning objectives. So really in week 13 and this whole module, our learning objectives really remain constant. So we are going to define and understand unprofessional conduct as outlined by the Montana Board of Behavioral Health. We are going to become familiar with the NADAC Code of Ethics, understand dual relationships and the impact they have on the counseling relationship, the LAC, and the client. We're going to recognize the professional and ethical responsibilities of an LAC, learn about client confidentiality, HIPAA, and 42 CFR Part 2, and working to prepare to become ethical and responsible LACs. So our content for this week, and I mentioned this in the Module 5 overview video, we don't have an assignment this week. Your assignment this week is to dive deep into this content. And we're going to have a little bit of additional content added in weeks 14 and 15, but a lot of it is continuing to engage in this week 13 content. So really take the time to familiarize yourself with these resources. So we do have a chapter from a textbook on confidentiality and ethical issues. I want you to read section 2 of TAP 21. That's a SAMHSA publication. Read the information on the Montana Board of Behavioral Health Unprofessional Conduct. Watch this webinar on personal and professional boundaries. Explore what dual relationships are. Looking at the Legal Action Center, this is a great resource for understanding 42 CFR Part 2. And then here is an excellent resource for more information on HIPAA and 42 CFR Part 2. So this is all of the content. There's a lot here. Like when you start navigating some of these resources, you're going to just see that there's a lot of depth here. And you're responsible to know this as an LAC. That's something that the Board of Behavioral Health is going to say. You're responsible for knowing it. So here are all of the resources. Dive in. If you have questions, ask them, seek supervision, seek input from your your instructors, your supervisors, to get help with these things. So our next steps, so this week we're starting module 5, we're reading those course materials, and there's no assignment this week. So again, really dive into those materials. Next week we will have a discussion forum, and what I will say is, by taking this break during week 13 to really engage in those materials, you're going to have more time during week 14 and 15, because those discussion forums are going to be more in depth than some of the other ones that you've had this semester. So that's it for this video. I'll post another video talking through the assignment for the week and expectations for that. So as always, head on over to that homepage, post questions if you've got them. Thanks, everyone.